Alright, so I'm convinced that this is going to be the best deck right now for Skellige as an entire faction, and if you guys aren't comfortable playing this version exactly, I do have another one that I'll show you towards the end of my explanation, and I'll include in the description below, so stick around for that, look out for that. But for now, let's talk about the final cut, the final version that I have here. It brings in a couple of the new cards, being Magic Compass, and we have the Highland Warlords. What I like about the Magic Compass is that it gives us the ability to just discard 4 cards throughout the game if we can play this, which lets us kind of chuck all of our bronzes that we don't necessarily want to play early. And then once we get them to grave sooner, now we could benefit from having something even greedier, something that I always wanted to do, being a double War of Clans. So what we're going to be getting here is basically the ability to play, 2 of these 6 cards from our grave and get the extra value. And obviously if we play a couple of the Warlords first, increasing the raid card damage, then we're going to be getting, more damage off this card. It's going to play like just a complete special itself, and then bring out a unit. These are crazy swings, right? And we don't have to worry about taking Vabjorn with the raiding fleet and doing all that type of stuff just to get our thins, because this here, combined with the Blood Eagle, is more than enough. Now, the only time you're going to run into an issue is if you're playing against Mill, because this version has a lot of discards and thinning, right? And of course, you got to be mindful of the fact that with this strategy, you could very well find yourself discarding Jutta, right? That's kind of the thing. So when you want to use Magic Compass, it's going to be mainly when you've got some decent golds in hand, right? And if you find that you don't have a good hand in round 1 and you're afraid of playing some of these top tier cards or discarding them by accident, then don't play this card round 1, wait till round 2 to play this, right? Because at least Herald, for example, gets a bit more value. At least you might feel more inclined to play, Tursik or whatever the case, like in a round 2. So that's kind of the idea behind it. So just pay attention to how I'm playing this, because it really matters and you can really mess yourself up with that. Now, the first version has Vabjorn instead, for those who are uncomfortable with it, and I took out one of the clans as well because of it, and I replaced it with Jenge. So, where is he? You know what I'm talking about. This guy. So that's basically the change, but I'll show you at the end of the video. So the idea with this deck, right, is to open round 1 with the Highland Warlords. If you're on blue, it's fine. If you're on red, it's even better, right? Just play these as soon as possible, because the rest of the game, we're going to be getting good trades on our raid cards, because we're increasing the damage of every raid card throughout the game by 1. So don't be playing them first if you can avoid it, right? Imagine playing 2 Highland Warlords and then getting a 4-point damage on a Primal Savagery plus the Bear. That's 10 for 4. And even better yet, if we have the space and time to do so, you can use Fukusha and you can use Herald to bring these back again, potentially playing these cards 4 times in a match. So you can imagine here doing 6 damage plus getting a Bear Abomination. That's 12 points for 4 provisions. You have the Gutting Slash. Let's say if you add 4 to that, right, it'll be 8 damage. Bloodthirst 2, it'll be 10 damage. For 4 provisions, like, these numbers are unheard of. You'd be able to get 6 damage off of War Clans, and then, of course, playing the Bronze. And then, lastly, you'd be getting a Blood Eagle for 6 points. Like, how easy would it be to death blow something to pull into, like, a Turgvy or something we missed when you have 6 points on a Blood Eagle, right? So this is why the deck is so good. When the card was released in my patch review video, I wasn't super confident with it. I thought it would be pretty good, but I thought it would be a little slow, because I found that Warriors round 1 were as well. And you'll often find times when you're playing this deck, it's possible that the opponent's going to tempo and beat you in round 1. But ultimately, it doesn't necessarily matter, right? Like, you take that carryover and you use that carryover to defend the bleed, and you get such good trades on your bronzes that you go into a short round 3 with all these golds and you just crush them. And so you'll see that type of thing in today's gameplay, and I'm really happy with the way it goes. Now, as far as stratagem's concerned, I think tactical advantage is just probably your best thing here. I don't think you need extra thinning with Mask of Ouroboros. The magical lamps or magic lamps not doing really anything for us. TA or Crystal Skull are your go-tos. I think TA is better, and more often you're just using it to put points on something, like just so that we have the points on our side of the board. But Brockvar Hunter is also a pretty good target for that. Fukusha is going to play a Skellige unit from our deck, or a graveyard rather, with a provision of 10 or less and give it Doom, spawn right in the opposite row with a duration equal to the unused provisions. So again, you can go for the Highland Warlord, get the carryover, and then you can get 5 turns of rain. The Raider's not a bad choice as well. I would probably stay away from the 4 provisions unless we absolutely had to, because we do have the 2 War of Clans here, and you don't want to brick those, right? So maybe just the 5 range, or one of the higher range like the Skjortel or the Turgvi, like, would be all good Fukusha targets here. Blood Eagle, we just take thins, we look for getting our Raiders out, we look for getting the Warlords out early, and late game we look for any golds we missed. Herald on Crate, every single time we play this card we're looking to take back a Raider. I think that's the best way to go about it. But Warlord is definitely a good option too, like I mentioned, with the value that we get from the raid cards. So one of these two are going to be your Herald target. Again, you're not really looking for the 4 provisions unless you need them, because you don't have something like this in your grave. That's fine. Ice Tursik is a little bit of a lottery card in this deck. Obviously, it synergizes quite nicely with our leader, because we can go and we can take the Jutta from our deck, slam the damage onto an enemy unit, and then she'll summon to our row with Iced, right? But then Iced will sit there if we don't have Bloodthirst, but we can proc him again with something like the Magic Compass. So it's not all bad, right? Even if we don't Bloodthirst 3, which it shouldn't... It's actually a little bit more difficult, now that I'm thinking about it, than it used to be, because a lot of our raids are just removing things altogether than damaging them. So the Ice does get a good payoff from playing Magic Compass following that to complete that, right? And with Magic Compass, ideally, if you're going to be taking that discard in around Iced, you want to discard something that's either just a high base value, if you have a choice, or something with an order, right? So we can use it later. Deploys wouldn't be really good, because King Bran, for example, gets really good value in this deck. There's going to be a lot of times where we overkill units because our raid cards are worth so much. So King Bran gets additional boost value. Now, if you're used to playing this card, you might notice that, like, end game, it'll boost itself by 1 or 2. And, you know, usually we're pretty happy to see that, because that's not the main reason why you put Bran in the deck. It's to trigger the veteran status of all our units in round 1. But with this deck here, you're getting essentially... I think I had one game where there was 5 boost on the deploy here, because we overkilled things 5 times. And that's pretty crazy, right? Bran, 8 points in round 3, plus the 5s coming out for 13, plus all the other stuff it did. It makes Bran pretty overpowered, so... I'm really happy with, like, basically the way that it went here, because Warriors is, like, one of my top 3 archetypes, I think, all time. And now this card just gets crazy. I think that this archetype is probably going to get a little bit of a nerf. I think Highland's going to go to a 6 provision eventually. You'll see it, because this just feels that strong. Turgvi is perfect because we're playing a lot of... they all look the same. Mystery Box and all those. Is it this one? No. I'm not going to fish for it. But you know that 13-point Lamp Djinn? Turgvi is going to be playing so good into that. It's going to be over a 20-point turn round 3. Or like just under 20 points in round 1, because everybody's trying to play this right now. And if it's not that, then there's going to be a matchup where your opponent just has a card with the base power of like 8 or 10, right? I've been seeing a lot of Lippy decks go around right now. They've got like Redeas, and they've got Shoops and all that type of stuff, right? These are high base power units. Monsters going around with high base power units. So Turgvi is a really good way to punish that. and I'm just happy with that. If you're not good with that, if you wanted something else, Morkvark's fine too, but I think that Turgvi just has more synergy with the veteran and the warrior archetype than to go with something like your Morkvark. And we want to make sure that we're playing devotion here because of, you know, some of the cards that benefit from devotion, like the clans and Herald and so forth. So you don't really want to go with something like a Heat Wave or anything like that for your extra punish. I think that's fine, right? We have a tall punish with the leader. We have utility tall punish or just engine punish with the Turgvi. It works quite well. This card, like I said, it's one of those ones where you got to be careful when you're playing it. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck, play one, move the others to your graveyard. If there is less than 3 cards in your deck, spawn and play a legendary Skellige card that was not in your starting deck instead. The last clause there is not going to be something that we're really following with this deck, right? It's possible if the opponent also thins us down that we can get that added bonus, like if we are playing against Mill, but that's not the idea here. You know, we need a bit more thinning in general to get into that category, and I think I have all the cards really in the top end that I want to play, so this is just mainly to set up the clans and the graveyard for our resurrections, because we've got 4 resurrections, right? Now, Squirtle, again, gets the 6 base power round 3 because we're devotion, right? It gets veteran. So we deal 6 base power, 6 damage, solid card. If we bring that back with Fukusha, we still get 2 turns of rain, which is great. Jud is actually even better in the meta right now than she was before because of that Lamp Gen. That's 13 points, right? And stuff like Tibor making a comeback with all the Siri Nova decks going around. So we can honestly just play this for 12 from hand sometimes because there's a lot of tall stuff going around. And what's that card? I'm still bad with names. This one here, Ring of Favor, right? If someone takes Ring of Favor on something in round 1, you've got literally potentially like a 20-point play. Now you've got Jutta that you can just slam down to hopefully counter that a little bit. If you have this in hand, then you know you need to play that, right? So just an idea. It's not always bad. Like we still have tall base power units that we could use our leader with, worst case. So that's that. Some people put in a great sword instead of one of the clans, but I don't really want to play a great sword here, just because I only have like the one card I'll probably want to play in a round that's going to be giving it like sort of pings, and really nothing else is going to save it unless we play like a warrior. And I'm usually putting these back in deck now because I'm playing a little bit different than I was before because we have the double clans and I want to discard them with the echo, right? So yeah, I like it the way it is here. Basically, again, more veteran cards, damage by 2 order, good stuff here. We talked about that. Gunning Slash, tons of damage. Talked about the Primal Savagery, and pretty standard Bronze End here. I like it quite a bit. I'm going to show you the other one real quick. And like I said, just 2 minor changes for those who don't like to high roll as much. You want to play a bit more comfortably, more consistently, and just a little bit less, you know, worried or whatever the case when you're playing. Vabjorn instead of the Echo, 1 War Clans instead of 2, because we're not discarding as much. Jenge in there as well, right? Another tall unit. We have a lock for what we can't destroy, which could be important, right? Alternative to Jenge, really, there's not a lot. You see what I mean? Like, Greatsword could be 1. But I'm thinking overall that if we're using Greatsword there, it's probably because we're using him as a second target for the leader, and 10 and 7 is not all that far away, especially like these in round 3 go to 8 points, so the Greatsword just felt less attractive in at 6 provisions there, right? But that's pretty much it. Maybe use Kajal if you just don't play it, but the Berserk 5's kind of vulnerable. So I just like things the way they are. We'll pull up this one just one more time so you can see it. But that's that. So today's video, I'm going to be doing 3 games of each of the decks. In the first 3 games, you're going to find the second version that I showed you without the compass. And then in the last 3 games, you're going to be finding the ones with this compass. So If you want to just watch the ones with compass, you could skip to the second 3. If you want to just see them all, by all means, check them all out. The decks play very similar, right? It's literally only a 2-card difference, so I felt like including a bit of both. But if I had to choose my favorite, I think that this one's cooler, right? I think this one's cooler. I've always wanted to do double cleanse, and I'm happy that I can pull it off comfortably enough to worry about it. So that's that. If you guys enjoy the video, make sure to like it, drop a comment, let me know what you think and what you'd like to see next. And I'll be back tomorrow with another upload. But for now, it's enough talking. Let's get into the games. I got 6 of them for you, so let's go. Alright, for game number 1, we got Nilfgaard, Tactical Decision, and it's going to be one of those decks, I think, eh? I think we put back the brand round 1. I think we put back the clans round 1. Yeah. Although clans is actually kind of good for this sort of thing. But it's really not much we could play here. Maybe if anything, Herald goes back. We don't know if it's mill just yet. Simple enough. We take what we came for here with this. And I like the fact that we got both that are raiders in hand. Pretty nice. Okay, we're seeing mill. Great. Stealing for 3. I wish we had the second one, but we don't. I don't want to give that bleeding because they'll replay it with teleportation, so we'll just wait. Let's try and get some of these established so we can get some good carryover into the next turn, right? Help set some things up. Nice. So, I know they replay this and get the value from it, so that just makes sense for something to remove. We deal with 3, there's not a lot I can do with that. I think we're supposed to just set this one up as well. Okay. $23.14, 12 cards left. Let's play them down a little bit here. We'll keep the raider floating because I want to make sure we have room to take savagery or something like that if we need it. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Damage by 5, less the 1. I suppose that's not a bad idea. Because then it removes it, they get the 1 more turn, but that's about it, right? $15's just huge. It's probably passing here, but then I know they're just going to pull all the stops next round or next turn. But really, 3 Death Blow is not set up right here with what we've got going on. I think what I need to do is come up with a bit better of a hand so that we don't get caught, right? If I could pull these 2, we're actually doing pretty good. I don't think I like Iced, and Leader's obviously not amazing in this. So we'll take it the way it is and we'll just be thankful we didn't go first. We don't want the Vabjorn. And I don't think we want the warrior either. Fakusha's nice, Herald's vulnerable. We'll see. That's fine. You know, we gotta be like mindful of the fact that we're trading down if we play something like this early. So we'll just go and we'll take. Sure.
Here's our chance.
Nice. So we've got 2 resurrections, right? We've got the Fakusha, which is probably going to be one of the raiders. And then we got the clans, which is going to be the warrior. So those are probably things that we want to play a little bit later. What do we got here? Kahir's not doing a whole lot. At the end of your turn, transform highest chosen provision. Maybe they're capped at like, well, at 9, yeah? I don't think I play their game. I think I just take my Turgvi. Just drop this card. Really wish there was a way to obviously take care of that, but there isn't. It's gotta be this on the 3, yeah. Like, if we could save Fakusha and Turgvi, we should be pretty comfortable. I might even just play this for the points.
Snap and done. A clean kill.
31-13. Yeah, it's just too much to deal with here. We'll go and take it out. That's a huge deal for Mill, though, having like a resource like that. It makes up for a lot of the way that they don't have points. They've got so much more tempo now, too. They just go take. We gotta play 10 points. 4. And then 4. And then 1. It's gotta be the play. Just gets us ahead by the 1 here, and I think that we're going to be able to just go ahead and play something like Jenge and be fine.
An interesting choice.
Not a lot of units left, but you know what? I think it's still... Is it Jenge? Or is it Fakusha? It gives us the card. It doesn't use leader. I think it's Fakusha off the range row. Because we got to make up for the fact that... yeah. We got to make up for the fact that they have the 7 there, right? And we have room to take a leader. Especially with iced. See if we get it though. There we go. I think the round's a little bit too slow to have something like the hunter. That's the best we're gonna get. We just play cards.
We'll tend your ankle biters too.
We follow Lethem.
We've got one more 4. I think we're supposed to just use this right now.
My beauteous command.
It's more than enough. That's actually a solid removal too. We'll get Bloodthirst in case they play. I honestly doubt it's Colgrim. Like, that would be sad. Just like 3 points per turn. But we have a lock for something like that's a wild card that I'm not expecting. Yeah, we'll just finish the game there. Alright, we got Enslave up here. We got Enslave 5. And that's not actually that bad, right? We should be able to do quite a bit here. We got both of these in hand for round 1. We could set up the clans round 1. Turgby's not bad round 1 either. I mean, both of which are pretty good. This is not really ideal, though. We'll put it back. Rockfar's nice because it sets up the savagery quite well, so I think we have it here. Now, even one ping off the Brockvar should be fine. Everything else is deploy. So, we might get them to waste the collar before we play the hunter. Who knows? I think we take the warlords, then we take the bleeding, and then we go with the savagery. 3 off that brings it down. Shield broken to 2. Maybe we just take this first. Because 2 takes it as it is. I suppose that's fun. Before we start playing raids and all that, you know? Let's get some good damage going. And we play one more of these, we hit it with a slash, then it's got 2 bleeding, so we'll get rid of it. Wow. There's a lot of effort put into that one card.
The stench of fear. I knows it well.
You know, I'm actually really tempted to go in with the whole, like, Judah and just take it down, you know? But we gotta be just a little more disciplined. Now our counter's up to 4. 4. It's looking nice. You know what? Nah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Or need I kill you again?
It's for the content. It's really difficult to like not want to take that, you know? 12 meets 12. Then they panic, maybe take a leader this round too. At least we get one pull on iced, you know what I mean? Yeah, you see, I knew they'd get kind of stuck. That's alright, I guess. Place for the 5. We just get this engine online, don't we? They probably go and take a leader off that. Deathblow 4 kind of puts the pressure, you know? What would we want to cycle out? They've got Veil on the board. Maybe just another one of these. Actually.
Resist the Yah's will, and that's how we'll end you.
If they pull Fukusha or something like that, I'm really upset. Okay, that's not a big deal. Actually, really good for the savagery. We'll take it. I'm hoping they play something without armor so we could just go take it down. 6 power plus would be awesome, but... I do think we have 2-0 recipe here. Bloody Go Bran, Savagery, like, this card just feels too good to not play. I think Bran can go back for now, and I think that can go back because it's at a tricky spot, you know what I mean? 4 power is easy for them to take, 6 is more difficult. So we'll float something like this. We'll go from there. And we set up Herald, we use Herald, we take back whatever, right? I think we're allowed to go and take Herald into a Warlord. That sucks. I mean, we still get what we need. Now it's just like anything they play is gone. I'm expecting to see a leader exchange. There it is.
A highly curious case.
They play a 6. We just take it because it plays for more. Now, this is what I'm talking about, because if we would have had this play going into round 3, it would have been kind of bad, right? Wow. So,
The North must be destroyed.
they have to give us something, right? They give us the Joaquin, okay. I mean, we just take it for the thin. Seeing the heat wave is quite nice. Knowing my luck is also quite nice. I don't think we can go further than that. I feel like dumping something like this, actually, we have the reach. With, like, if they do hero pass, we got the 14-point play here, and then the 10-point play here. It would be enough. I think that's just where I have to call it, though. It's just too much. We've got, obviously, Fukusha to set up, like, Bloodthirst. Same with clans, kind of. That's not bad. What else would we pull that's important? We have 2 mulligans. Iced is not really what I need here. I like that better. We take a slash. I think we're fine to just take clans and dump the 8. I want to have units on the board to interact with in some way or another, so, you know. And I think it's just auto win. I'll take Fukusha anyways, just so that we get the most value. You know what? Like, it does wipe if we just do it this way. Yeah, that'll do it for this one. Alright, so we got Reckless Flurry up next, and we are going second. You know, I don't feel bad about this one, really. We'll put back Jutta, because that's just something you don't want to play round 1. I don't mind clans, because there's a chance that they're going to remove one of these 4Ps. Right? But I don't want to start playing raid cards until we have everything sort of figured out, right? Unfortunately, we miss both of the warlords, and we miss the real way of getting them, I guess, right? This trades down, this trades down. It's probably just opening up with something like this.
Worry not. We'll tend your ankle biters too.
That's really not that bad.
Will you die already? Or need I kill you again?
Might as well just get the 4Ps out of the way, right? We'll just drop that here. So they might be doing some real thinning. Yeah. It kind of feels lippy. It feels... This feels lippy without Ursine, so there's no like serious kind of thing. Maybe they're just using the echo, right? So we want to get rid of that, just because that's going to get a lot of points. But if we take Rupture, then they'll just prevent it from, obviously, getting as much value. I think we take something like the Squirrel. That should be alright. I want to get the Hunter online shortly. I want to get this online shortly, right? That's pretty big. I don't know if I'm going to let that scare me out of the round, right? It's gotta be this, just for the actual tempo of it. The Hunter's too slow at this point. We lose 2 here, go to 11, so we have room. Great sword. And that. And that. And that. And that. So it's not lippy, right? That feels overcommitment to me, but time will tell. So they missed the unit there, like they had to chuck that back. Plan's really good setup here. I think one of those goes back, and I honestly think that this goes back too. It's unfortunate that we didn't get what we're looking for here as far as those, but there's not a lot I can do about that. It's probably just cycling out Blood Eagle here. And so this way at least we can sort of mitigate the carryover, right? They pass here, we take a slash or something. Actually, in fact, we could even go as far as playing a warrior. They've got tons of tempo though. It's got to be something a little quicker, I think. At this point, obviously starting to wish that we 16, 12 plays for 5. 5 gives them 3 carryover. Whereas this would give them 3 and 3 is 2 carryover. But this is probably a better play into round 3. I think it's a slash. Because it just gets us ahead, right? That's a bit of a problem though. They top deck 2 cards. And we top deck 3. I don't know if I need the lock. So it'll be... yeah, it'll be iced that we end up getting there. I think we just take Herald. So sometimes thinning is like, you know, too much thinning is too much thinning, that's all, right? We did have really bad draws this game. Like, Vabjorn really would have shaken things up. Obviously, having Blood Eagle this round takes one more. Having Leader takes one more. Ice takes one more. So, was that a restore, or... Okay, it was the Erendite. Got it. We're just going to use it, because otherwise we might lose the opportunity if they take their leader. Yeah, too much thinning. I guess they just want to make that legendary, right? Could be actually kind of good. Maybe they pull into something that's like above the provision allotment. So that's what they want. Okay. That gets problematic. I don't know if that's like... Actually, you could choose, right, with that card. So that's not bad. At this point, it's probably just take a death blow, get a card here. I don't really want to take on the front row too much, because if they're going to be bringing cards back, that could be a bit of a problem, right? So we'll just sort of focus on what we can do here. Now, Fukusha's probably something. Fukusha for... You've got the 1 and the 2. So if I do go into this here, it's 6. It plays for 8. It's not that great. This is actually more points. Bloodthirst 3 is really good for the ice setup as well, so we can go ahead and take that shortly. So I don't think they're going to spam that row again. I think I'm just going to go like this for the points.
Look closely, kiddo, on my courageous mother.
Yeah, we're good shape here. So damage 3, death blow. I mean, we have Bloodthirst 3 already, so we'll just hit this. Take the iced, right? That's perfect. And just go ahead and finish the job here. This will do it for this game, I think. Pretty cool deck, though. I like that. Alright, so we got blue coin here. We're up against probably something similar to what we just played, right? Let's see what we can do here. And this is going to be the version with compass, guys. I feel like we want to have iced in hand when we're running this whole play. Tuck back at clans because it's early yet. Damage 3. We have pings. I think slash is less valuable here, just so that we get everything going. So that's alright. We'll do our best here. Go take that leader right away, don't they? Maybe they have megascopes and they gotta keep that alive. The Turvy is actually really solid because they spent the leader charge. I think that's worth it. And we'll get rid of the Bloodthirst, I think. Yeah, they're scoping it. Solid trade, though. Let's warm this up so that we get maybe a little bit of room for the savagery next turn. That's a quick snag. If one fails, we'll just do the same thing, try it again. How many of these do they have? Something tells me they have the Highlands, but they didn't draw them because I don't know why they'd still... Maybe because it did get sort of the buff, the damage to 7 on the armor. They fixed it back to what it used to be.
You die already, or need I kill you again?
Because otherwise I wouldn't be running 2 of them.
Yield and save me
It's
some time.
ambitious. I wish we could just take it out like that, but if they lose round with turn to hand, we're sort of forced to play, and that's the unfortunate part, is that it actually puts me in a spot where now we might have to consider using something like Fukusha so that we don't lose uneven. And they're sort of like really playing around this whole thing. You know, I think I'm just willing.
Exactly what I hoped for.
I think it's actually going to be single iced. I don't think we're going to take the double on that, and I don't think that they have Turvy. Resilience. We pass.
I suppose, in the end.
So I don't feel bad. We got the leader stuff out of the way. They have Siri Nova, it's fine. It's most definitely going to be putting this away. This is actually going to help us out quite a bit. We'll put that away as well.
You can kiss my tail goodbye.
If I go Fukusha into something, it's going to be this. But I think we want to wait one more turn. We use that and that. And this helps prevent bonded. 14, 10 ties. Fukusha goes into probably a Highland, yeah? At this point,
You broke my heart. You shall never find peace.
I really want to walk away from this. Let's not get in the way of the axe. Double the coin and consider it done.
this does more bad than good for us. I think it's gotta be Skellige. Then we've got the 4s, right? Yeah, we'll just be fine, I think. So Herald is going to be a big play. This is a good point slam. Huge. We gotta be careful though, because I don't want to have too many raid cards. Otherwise, we could get caught. Here. Look at the top 3. I mean, a lot of these things are damaged, but there's a couple that aren't. I think that's just the way. Yeah. We'll split the rows up a little bit.
Art thou worthy?
So we got the 4 damage plus the 2. You know, makes more sense to me to just take the Blood Eagle here. Because we've got a couple raid cards, right? Just kill that off so they don't heal it. 5 damage on these is like, okay, pretty much everything they play is going to get removed. I don't like Compass with a discard package. I think it's kind of bad for this reason. We take the points because they'll heal that and we'll still kill that. And there's not really a lot else to target. And we get the excess damage dealt. Yeah, I think that's fine. 27-6. Then we get the 4, right? 12-point play. We should just be alright. Yeah. So far I'm liking the Compass version better, but it does take a little bit of discipline. I think when you're using Compass, you don't want to have too much thinning options. Hjalmar was really good here, but... Alright, so next up here we got Northern Realms inspired Zeal. The blue coin's really not that bad either. Put back Jetta. I feel like we're putting back Herald as well. Compass is good, but we gotta be careful we don't draw into Herald. And I think we put back some of these bronzes so that we can pull into some of them to throw away. And simple enough, we just take this, I think. If you're not comfortable playing Magic Compass, it's why I put in the other version of the deck as well, because, you know, sometimes you're taking a chance here. Like if you do throw away the ice too early, or you throw away the Herald, like these problems could be a thing. Looks like a threat. This could be mages, yeah.
What is it?
I want to see if there's a way to get around that without having to actually, you know, use a leader. Ah, it's commandos, okay. I think I know what they're doing here. We gotta take this and start doing that whole thing, otherwise it's gonna be a little bit of a trade down on our other stuff here, but...
Bloody non-humans.
Now, we just cycle out the other Warlord because there's a chance they might tempo on us here. I don't mind actually taking full points. So they've got 4. Yeah, it's probably one of those things where we pass here at 5, recomp the hand. If you go into round 2 with like them with the 4 commandos, it's not all bad. Yeah. I don't see the winning condition. We'd have to take something like this first, and then the Fukusha play, but they already have like a good amount of points. I think we're better off defending. So we'll put back some of the good stuff, right? We have Herald now, so we don't have to be as worried about that. We want to put one of these back too, so we can start chucking that stuff away. So they're probably going to crank it. That's like actually a really good card to play in this case. Now, the pitfall is that we do take the Jutta out with the compass, but it's not the end of the world. We still have, like, decent targets in deck, like the Invader that we could take off the leader and stuff like that, so... I think this kind of helps set the round up so that they're not as inclined to push, but... You see what I mean? And we didn't do like a whole lot here. Like, we just did what we had to do. Clans is kind of like just good, you know? We're close. Bloody going to that. We put that back to, there we go. That's like a perfect hand. Now we have to decide, I think 6, so 7, 8, 9, we have 3, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. This has a bit more utility.
Stench of beer. I knows it well.
Very corpses? Nay, you are close to the crabs where they still live.
It's pretty nice. In your deck with the same provision cost though, you know? It's not gonna hit them all. Like if they're looking to boost the commandos and do all that, right? So be it. For provision warrior. It's gotta be something like this if we want to get the most value, right?
Promise you a quick day.
It's nice to see that amphibious out of the way as well. We don't have to worry about much. Okay, so siege it is. I wasn't expecting that of all things. This is overkill. This is not bad, actually. This is too much. We gotta take these out. I think this has armor, so it's safer from this. I think we have to go for the Caraballista. Yeah, we'll do it. Them boosting it up kind of helps it. Deals for 7 though, you know what I mean? Like, that's not bad either. But I feel like it's supposed to be something like this. Of course, it always hits the one that I don't want to hit, you know? Take it,
Resist the Jarl's will, and that's how we'll end you.
And since both of these will take this out, I think we just hit one of the other ones. It's quite a bit.
I pass on every 10th round.
We'll do both of these, I think. Right? We'll take our Blood Eagle here off of Qcento. Because it's doing for, yeah, it's doing for 5. And Herald still hangs on, which is great. That's a good swing. And then now we take Compass, which actually procs Iced, you know what I mean? But before then, I might actually consider looking at what we can do with the Fukusha, right? That's the only one. And they played the Amphibious for this, so maybe they don't have a way to tutor it. So either way, it's a little of a brick. It's gonna be Fukusha here for the most value. And at this point, dealing for 4 damage, playing for 12, or playing for 3 turns of rain. I think we actually just choose the rain. We get the beast, obviously, so it's helpful here. I want to try and snipe that. There we go. So, do we have clans? We do have clans. It's got to be clans, right?
Follow you always. Into the fire. More hog for you.
I guess. I figured just use it before we lose it. And then King Brand's looking pretty nasty here. Right. Just take away from their inspired play. I don't think that there's really a chance they're going to get that 41 points. Yeah. Alright, and for the last game of the day, we got Skellige, Reckless Flurry, and we go first. Can't say I love going first with this, but it's fine. We want to look for, obviously, our pieces here. I think we put that back. I want to get some value for the raids before we play the raids. So I think we put that back. And honestly, I think we put that back too. Yeah. We'll cycle out the Hunter, we'll do this whole thing, maybe we'll take a Blood Eagle, call it a day. I believe that they're going to push. I don't think it matters too much if they do push, even if it results on a win on even, right? So, we'll just play it slow and steady and we should be alright. Unless... they're probably doing the whole Lippy thing, right? You never know, it's hard to play into certain matchups, like even as an experienced player, knowing what you're getting into when things are just being invented for the first time right now. But I have to say, that's not that great. The whole Marjoram thing, they probably had pretty bad pulls. I feel like there's no reason to not protect the one engine that we have. And we'll go and we'll cycle out the other Warlord, I'm sure, right? That's a priority, I think. Cool stuff.
Stench of beer. I knows it
Now I don't feel too bad about playing my raid cards going forward, but I think what we want to do here is do we play the game? Do we play the game?
You die already? Or need I kill you again?
That's a huge swing for us though, right? It's like a 20-point turn. I think we're supposed to just take it out. $33.29. You know, I'm almost convinced to keep playing, but this could go bad. Let's see.
Very corpses. Feed our foes to the crabs while they still live.
Here, please. Closer come.
They're going so hard. So no duplicates.
I promise you a quick death.
If they ping it, I know they have Junid, right? So for that reason, I think I just play it like this.
Courageous mother.
I guess they don't.
Skellige and Center shall stand ever together.
May Freya choose the victor.
I do think that'll push them out of the round. I don't think I'm going to play Fukusha. There we go. So we'll put back this. We kind of want to look for Herald, don't we? Let's put back Brand for now. I think we'll get what we need. There's got to be Lippy in this deck because they just got so much going on. Like, yeah, there it is. But they dump Muzzle, and they lose these points here. I think that was actually a really good pass. So we'll put back 1. And I like how many raid cards we have, obviously, right? I don't even think it matters if we have Compass, because we pull this. That's probably just the way. Take the Herald off a Raider. Okay. I think I just float this one first, play the Herald second, just to get the extra point off of it, right? And if they boost something by 4, give it vitality, chances are we can remove it before they get the full value from it, right? A Shoop Seize would be bad. Damage by 4. What? They would have to use 2 leaders to make it count. Or 1, rather. Yeah, because 7. We'll be alright. I don't think we need to take the Warlords again here. I think we want to have, like, the utility.
Rumors travel faster than the wind.
It's actually not a bad thing for this deck to pull, right? Except theirs will play for 4. They take the 3 and hopefully... at least we get it to stick though. 6, 7, 8, 9. We deal 6.
Resist the Jarl's will, and that's how we'll end you.
It goes up to 4, we take it out. That's kind of the idea. Maybe we use Blood Eagle instead. Actually, Blood Eagle is fine for later. Nah, it's probably Blood Eagle. I don't know. Actually, no, it's safer to go Primal because the Death Blow, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, now it's just Fukusha. We gotta get some value here. I was gonna say Rain, but now I'm just thinking like Rupture.
You have my sword, and I'll cure Sanctus.
kind of a big deal. Puts them down to 16 points. We did pretty well with this deck so far. Started empty Mosaic rank 2 because I was experimenting with some things before playing this deck. And then we won a few, lost to a mill deck, and I didn't want to include it because I felt like, you know, it's telling the world that mill is good. That's interesting. Purify and damage. They saved themselves a little bit. We still take this, I think. But anyways, played a few, 3 of those, lost 1, came back, played, this will be our 3rd one here. I'm feeling pretty good about what's going to happen in this game. Deal 6. I mean, we're probably not going to get the King Bran. I don't know if I should be holding out for it. It's probably just going to have to be the Brockvar, which we'll see. Oh, okay, doesn't matter. We'll see you guys tomorrow.